Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Trace Blaze out in the cut, and the coronavirus has the world on lockdown. As of now, there are over 2,000 cases and over 60 deaths reported due to the virus as work and schools are closing. It's become such a big deal to the point where the president has declared a national emergency. All sports are being postponed or canceled, including the NBA, as it has been announced recently that the 2019-20 season, as of now, is suspended. This comes right after Rudy Gobert was tested positive with the coronavirus. When it was announced that the Jazz Thunder game was postponed and Rudy Gobert was tested positive with the virus, out of nowhere the NBA declared the season to be suspended immediately. What occurred earlier that same day, Quinn Snyder said that Gobert wasn't even going to play with an illness. He wasn't even in the arena to begin with, though the team reported that he was questionable to play. On top of that, the OKC doctor came sprinting to the court and informed the refs to postpone the game, as both teams were informed to walk off the floor right before tip-off, so everybody was confused as to what was happening. Then the news broke out that Gobert had the virus, the game was later postponed, and the league suspended all games in moving forward. A couple of days later, Adam Silver went on TNT and said that the league will be on hiatus for at least 30 days, as they will use that time to determine what's the next appropriate move after the month goes by. I want everyone to be aware that just because the league is suspended for 30 days doesn't necessarily mean that the league will resume after those days are up. It could continue well after those 30 days have gone by, and there are rumors that the suspension could even go well after June. A day after Gobert had the virus, Donovan Mitchell was tested positive as well, as there were reports that Gobert was careless with his teammates and their belongings, as he came forward with an apology in hopes that everyone else takes this situation more seriously. Because of this, all players from the Utah Jazz and OKC Thunder were quarantined, and the Jazz were quarantined overnight, sitting in their locker rooms, lined up in a circle, wearing masks, and had to be tested by Oklahoma test officials for the virus. They weren't permitted to fly back home and charter their way back to Utah, so it was a rough night for all the players involved. Not only that, but every team that had played the Jazz within those 10 days, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, the Toronto Raptors, the Detroit Pistons, and the New York Knicks, were told to self-quarantine for 2 weeks, as a total of 34 players that were on the floor with Gobert during those 10 days. Ever since then, Christian Woods of the Detroit Pistons has been tested positive with the virus. Even Charles Barkley himself, who's not even in the league no more, said that he has not been feeling well and he will get tested for the virus as well. And the latest news to break is 4 players from the Brooklyn Nets has been tested positive, including Kevin Durant, who admitted to having the virus, though he states that he has no symptoms and is feeling fine. One last thing to mention, as for the payment, there's a term called doomsday provision, which states that the owners could be freed from paying the players a certain amount of their salaries if the rest of the season is lost, as it's included in the collective bargaining agreement, which is the CBA, that the NBPA, the National Basketball Players Association, and the NBA came to an agreement on. As of now, they have yet to discuss anything about it, but most certainly that will be the topic these guys will be focusing on moving forward. On top of that, staff members in the arena could see no money for the rest of the season. There are some teams that are helping out the staff members by covering their salaries. That is started with Cavaliers and Kevin Love, then the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis, Zion and the Pelicans, Blake Griffin and the Pistons, the Warriors, and others are donating as well. Hopefully all 30 teams are committed on doing so, and we can seek a resolution to the virus that has been spreading so rapidly throughout the world. And some final notes to mention, everybody that had attended the Jazz Thunder game was not at risk for the virus, and Rudy Gobert just announced that he will donate $500,000 to arena employees and coronavirus-related services in OKC, Utah, and his home country in France. That's all for now, you guys. I will continue to update this as more info comes along. How do you guys feel about this insanity that has blown up so quickly? As of now, I am still shocked at how things have turned out to be. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share with others, and I'll see you guys later.